Torah portion, Chukas. We are the fourth reading. No. Wrong one. Let's see if that's the right one. Where is the right screen? Actually, you know what? Give me a moment. Get it up over here. Okay. This is the right screen. Let's share that now. There we go. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech shehakol nivarek.
Amen. Amen.
Chaim, everybody. Okay. Yesterday, on Gimel Tammuz, as we did the teachings yesterday, Moshe hit the rock rather than speaking to the rock, and he's gets the decree that he and his brother will not enter in the land of Israel. Wow. Now we continue. V'yishlach Moshe. And Moshe sent malachim. Malachim is a term, actually angels, but it means messengers in the context, right? Doesn't mean angels here. Angels are messengers, right? So it's a term for messenger. Mikadesh, from Kadesh, El Melech Edom, to the king of Edom, the Edomite king. Kayamar Achicha Yisrael. So says, this is the messengers should say, so says your brother Israel. All right. Ata Yedaita, you know, as a Talah Asher Matzasonu. You know, the Talah, the hardships that have befallen us. Rashi in 14. Achicha Israel. So Rashi says, why did Moshe, mention a brotherhood over here? Right? I mean, what's the brotherhood over here? Ela Amar Loi. But Moshe said to Edom, Achim Anachim, we're brothers, Bnei Abraham, the children of Abraham. Shenamar Loi, to whom it was said, Ki geri yezarecha, that your offspring are going to be strangers in the land. And it was incumbent upon both of us to pay that debt. In other words, you're also a descendant, because Edom is a descendant of Esav. Esav is a grandchild of Avraham. So, it's kind of incumbent upon you also that you should have had, the decree upon you to be strangers in the land as we were in Egypt for 210 years. Ata Yedaitis Atalah, you are aware, we're in verse 14, started. You're aware of the hardship. This is why your father parted from our father. Shenemar says, Eretz, and he went to the land, because of his brother Jacob. Because of the promissory note that was put upon them, both of them, in other words, were obligated to pay. And it was put on Yaakov. So, in other words, Avraham was told you're going to be strangers in the land, right? And so it's really an obligation upon both Yaakov and Esav. However, the hardship was put on Yaakov and not on Esav. He parted, right? He parted from his brother. So this is appealing to the sense of justice rather than sympathy from the Edomites, is what Harashi's explaining over here. In other words, you've got some skin in the game over here that you got to you have a payback. What's the payback? Our fathers went down to Egypt, Actually, not yet. Now he's explaining, what exactly happened to us. And we dwelled in Egypt, Yomim Rabim, a long time, many days is literally. Mitzrayim, and they did evil to us, the Egyptians, and to our fathers. Rashi, civilized rabbis, we endured. Sovel means to endure. Tsaris, hardship. Rabbis, many hardships. And for our forefathers. Mikan, sha'avas mitstairim bekever. So why is he saying to our forefathers? There are forefathers. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were not there, right? So Rashi explains, what does it mean that we learn from here that the patriarchs feel the pain in the grave? Kishaparan is Baal Israel, when punishment comes upon the Jewish people. Wow. It's interesting that this is it's a verse in the Torah that's telling us, right? Lava Yisena, because it does make sense. If they did evil to us in Egypt and to our forefathers, right? If it would have just said did evil to us to our forefathers, so you would say those who were in Egypt, but it says and to our forefathers. So it means in addition. So it's referring to, as Rashi says, to our patriarchs in the grave, that they're feeling it. 16. Benitzak el Hashem. And we cried out to God, V'yishma koleinu, and he heard our voice, V'yishlach malach, and he sent an angel. Here it's an angel, right? Before it was malach, was messengers. Right, the same root word. He took us out of Egypt, and behold, we are Bekadesh. We are now at Kadesh. Where's Kadesh? It's the city that's the edge of your border. Right? 16 in Rashi. V'yishma kolenu, and he heard our voice. Bibracha, through the blessing. Avinu, which our forefather blessed us. Right. Alluding to the inheritance here in order to intimidate. This kind of, to intimidate them. Yeah, we got the blessing, right? Hakol Kel Yaakov. What's a blessing? The voice is the voice of Jacob. Sha'anu Tzayakim, that when we cry out, that we're answered. Right. The verse is saying that God heard us. And as God hears our cry, and we're here sitting now at your border. God hears our cry. He heard it then. He took us out of Egypt then, right? Hinting to the fact that, that we shouldn't have to raise our voice to God for the request that's going to be made. You'll see in the next verse. Malach, an emissary, Moshe. An angel. Who's the angel? It's Moshe. He's the angel. From here, we see Shanivim Kurim Malachim. The prophets are called angels. Interesting. Because remember, we said the word Malach before was an emissary. So here, it also means an emissary. Who's that emissary? It's Moshe. Malivim the Malachi Elikim. They insulted the angels of God and disgraced his word and mocked his prophets. Another, he's bringing a proof. This is a verse in Chronicles, in Divrei Hayamim, that brings out the idea of angels being prophets, meaning not angels above, right? By the way, how does Rashi know that that here angels doesn't mean angels? Because God didn't take us out with an angel, right? He didn't take us out not with a malach, not with the saraf, right? But Hashem himself took us out. So here the angel that the verse is saying is the emissary of God. And also in the context of it, because it is indeed Moshe who took us out. Okay, 17, now the request. Nabra no. Let us, please, no means please. Nabra, that we should cross over. We should pass through. Loy navar bisod. We won't pass over. In other words, be'artzacha, in your land. Moab, if I don't have the picture here. Wait. Okay. All righty. Look at that. I got the picture here. Here the Jews are. This is Moab over here on top, right by next to the Dead Sea. Moab, I'm sorry, the Edomites are over here. That's what we're talking about. Edom, right? The Edomites are over here. This is So they need to cross over here to get into Israel. I guess to go in this direction like that, right? They need to cross. And so they only want to cross their territory. They don't want to fight them. They don't want to do anything but to go into Israel, right? Remember, this is the 40th year now. So let us cross over Bisada. We won't cross over in the fields, it will be Kerem, and not in the vineyards. We will not drink well water. I'm not certain if that, we'll have to see Rashi what that means. In other words, okay, we'll see Rashi in a moment. Okay, Derech HaMelech Nelech. We'll go the way of the king's road, right? Lo Yinita Yamin Yisrael. We won't stray to the right or to the left. Ad Asher Nabra Gevulecha, until we pass through your territory. Rashi in 17. Nabra no Ba'artzecha. Let us please pass through your land. Ein lacha, you have no cause to object. Ala Yerusha shall Eretz Yisrael, over the inheritance of the land of Israel. Kishem shaloi parata achayim. Inasmuch as you didn't pay the debt, right? Also, so at least give us some of the assistance. Now, you didn't have to go into exile like we did. So at least, because both Hashem said to Avram Avinu that your descendants are going to go into exile, right? 400 years. In the end, who was it? It was only Yaakov, not Esav. So Edom is from Esav. So really the debt was on you too that you had to pay. So you didn't pay that debt. We took it upon ourselves, or God put it upon us. And so at least understand that you have no cause to be concerned, to object. It is our inheritance, the land. We're not taking your land. As you, in as much as you didn't pay the debt, also at least give us some assistance, lavor, that we can pass through by way of your land. We're not going to drink the water of a well. It should have said May Beres, not Be'er. In other words, water of cisterns, plural, rather than singular. May Be'er means water of one well. But this is what Moshe said. They don't even know we possess man lechol mana to eat, or bear lishtes, and a well to drink from. We're not going to drink from it. Ella nikna mikem oichol umayim. We're going to purchase from you the food and the water, lahanoschem, in order that you benefit from it. Mikan, from here we learn lachsanya regarding a lodger. That even though someone who's lodging by in a lodge, right, and they have food in their possession to eat, you should buy food from the local storekeeper in order to benefit his host. Someone's hosting you. I'm not clear what, I guess in the sense they're hosting you for free, right? That's what the analog over here is that they're letting you go through for free the Edomites. So in order that they should have some benefit from it, we're going to buy the food from the people. In other words, if you're paying in a hotel, I don't think it means you have to go eat in the hotel, even if it's kosher food. Doesn't mean you have to eat there. I think that's the way I would take it from here. Others, if you're a host somewhere and they could get a benefit from you that they're hosting you for free. So then you bring them, well, how do you do that? You bring them some wine. We travel the road of the king, and we won't veer right or left. We'll muzzle our animals, that they should not veer from either side to eat. We're not right. That's what it means to veer, because the people, if you're already, why does Rashi say that? Because we're already speaking about that. We're not going to take our own food to feed ourselves. We're going to buy from the storekeepers, so the country gets benefit. So then, what is this talking about? What are we not going to veer? Obviously, not going to veer. So it means the animals won't veer because we're going to muzzle them. 18. Yemer Elav. Okay, here's the response. What do you think? Yemer Elav, and he said to him, Edom said to him, Leisavar bi, you shall not pass through me, lest I go towards you with a sword. Or with a sword, I will go towards you. It's a literal translation. 18 in Rashi. Pen lest I go with a sword against you. Atem is going. You pride yourselves because avichem, but the voice that your father bequeathed you. Right? Remember, we said before. That you said, the guy cries out, we cry out to God, and he hears our voice. We'll also go forward with you, that which we were bequeathed by our forefather. What is that? They're going to live with your sword. Right? That's Edom. By the way, you know who Edom is, folks? Edom? Huh? No, that's where it comes from. But who is Edom today? Is Western civilization. Rome is a descendant of Rome. There was a grandson, I think it was, of Edom, if I remember his name, Rome. We had it in Parsha. We had the end of a Parsha in Shmois. I forget now which one. And so Rome was the name, and Western civilization comes from Esav, from Rome, as opposed to from Ishmael comes, other cousins. Okay, 19. Vayomru Elav, and he said to him, and they said, Bnei Israel. In other words, Bnei Israel responded. That's interesting, huh? The Mesila Ne'aleh, we will keep on the highway. V'im meimecha nishte, and if we drink of your water, ani o miknai, v'nesati michram, either for me or my cattle, Nasati Michram will give its purchase. Its purchase price. Rak ein davar v'ragli ever. It is nothing, really nothing. Rak ein davar. It's nothing v'ragli ever that we're going to pass through by foot. Rak ein davar, ein shum davar mizikcha. There's nothing going to harm you here. So it's interesting, and Rashi doesn't pick up on it, that who's responding is not Moshe, right? Moshe sent messengers with the message, the whole message from before, and now the response is coming from Bnei Israel, right? To the fact that they want to battle. And it's not Moshe coming with the response. Just an interesting point. Okay. 20. So he responded, meaning Edom, no, you're not going to pass through. And guess what? Edom came out to greet them. Ba'am Kaveh with a heavy force. Biyad Chazaka with a strong hand. Rashi Biyad Chazaka. Avtacha Ziknenu with the promise of our grandfather that our hand is the hand of Esav, meaning we've got a strong arm, meaning by the sword we live, as was said before. Verse 21, Edom, nation Israel, and they refused. Yimayim means they refused. Edom, nothing to give Israel, to give the Israelites, Avod, passing Bigvulai in his territory. Israel may love. Guess what? The Jews turned away from. Right? They were going to start a battle. And tomorrow, we're going to learn that they traveled to a place called Torah. Where Aram passes away. Bleibe gesund. Let's see if we can find something. Nothing on this part that we just learned. Tomorrow there is, but not today. Oh, 1 second. I'm sorry, there is. Okay, remember we said Malach, Rashi said Malach is, angel, messenger. Zem Moshe, he said, this is Moshe Mikan, Shenevim Kurim Malachim. From here, we see that the prophets are called Malachim, angels, messengers. So later on, we see that there's also a delegation, similar delegation as what we just learned here, right? Going to a king, and here was the Edomites, and it's an Amorites, Amori. It's going to be tomorrow or the following day. The Chumash that we're going to learn, right? And it says, Yishlach Yisrael Malachim. And Israel sent Malachim, messengers, to Sichim, the king of the Amorites, saying, please allow us to cross through your border. We won't go into the fields, into the vineyards. We won't drink from Mebe'er. We'll go by the pathway of the king. So it's two different missions, two separate missions, but a similar idea of passing through, and that we won't drink and eat, and so on and so forth from our own stuff. But there's some distinctions. First one is that what we just spoke about, the emissary is Moshe, right? As it says, Yishlach Moshe, Moshe sent the emissaries. But when it comes to Sichain, it says Israel, it says Jewish people, they sent, right? Why the distinction? The beginning of this encounter that we mention here begins with saying of our history, right? That we went out of Egypt, which that is not mentioned to Sichain. Third question, the mission to Edom is expressed with the word no, please. She doesn't say by Sichai, by the Amorites. Doesn't say please. It says just Ebra Barzucha, that we pass through your land. It doesn't say please. Here today it did say, but in the next nation that we encounter, again, the Amorites. This is today's Edomites. It's either, I don't know, I didn't notice if it's tomorrow or the following day. Will be the Amorites, rather. Today, after Edom said no, we made a second effort, right? That they should be compliant to our request, right? Compliant to our request. But when it came to Sichon, they made one request and they didn't try a second time. So why these differences? Because there's two different purposes in the two missions. With Edom, it's forbidden for us to wage battle against them. As we'll see later, it says, "Loitis garubam." Don't start up with them, with the Edomites. Now there was a possibility that if they were going to start up with us, we would have been told then, okay, you have to fight back. Or that we would have to go a roundabout way, which would then make it a much more lengthier journey. Therefore, it was upon the Israelites that they should try every possible way in order to try to convince the Melech, the king of the Edomites, to let them pass through. In other words, we can't start up with them. We're not going to make a war with them. And maybe, if we can't do that, so that all we can do is try politically to talk to them, right? To try and get them to be compliant. Sichain, the king of the Amorites, right, which is forthcoming, is different. We could battle them. And we would be victorious in a battle with them, God says. Which in the end is what happens, right? Not now, when the end happens. So then the reason to send messengers, right? In other words, what are you sending messengers? With the Edomites today, we have to send messengers because we can't battle them. But with the Amorites, we could battle them. So just go. So the reason is it wasn't, to get their permission as much as it was. I mean, it was to get their permission. It was that we shouldn't start off through battle, but we should start in a peaceful manner. Right. And since we don't, we don't have to get their okay. We don't have to get their okay. Better than if we can, so we should deal in a peaceful manner. So therefore, they didn't have to ask a second time, and they didn't have to say please. Right? That's why when it came to um, it doesn't. When it comes to Adam, it says Moshe is the one. As if it's the children of Israel, so it's sort of like like the whole country is asking of this. Oh, 1 second. Oh, sorry. Since we can't start up with them, so by mentioning Moshe, as this, powerful leader, so that they're going to put a little fear in them because we can't start up with them, and we need their compliance, and that's why it says him. When it comes to the Amorites, the forthcoming one, right? We don't have to put that fear on them because in the end we could wage battle with them if necessary. And again, that's why in today's request, there's the pleas, because the only way we can pass through their land is with their compliance. So we need to be much more supplicated in our request, as opposed to the Amorites, where we could just wage battle against them. And that's why by the second request today, remember I asked the question, first request is made by Moshe, second request is made by the Bnei Israel, by the nation. Why? Because the first time they tried with Moshe, that would maybe bring a fear because he's, such an amazing leader. And that didn't work. So then it's all of the children of Israel that are requesting. Yeah. So therefore it comes from the entire Jewish people. All right. Beautiful. Okay, glad we got that in. We'll see you shortly by Tanya.